Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of round number 2, race number 1 of the Zwift Racing League. We're on a London Loop reverse for 2 laps. It is a scratch race today, full gas. The ladies are out on course. They're just starting their Fox Hill climb. Dave, this is going to be one for the punchers, probably about... I'm thinking 5 to 5.5 minute climb for the A's for the men, and I think we're going to be going probably around 5.5, 6 for the ladies, and it is a stacked field for both the European women's fields we're going to be following as well as the men.
Yeah, let's get it on. I am stoked, Nathan. What a great course we have to start things off with as well. The featured climb, Fox Hill. I love the fact that anvils are going to be a part of the conversation today. As a matter of fact, Nathan, we have a lot to talk about. As it sounds like, as you're saying, ladies, just about getting into the thick of it on Fox Hill. This climb will be decisive, although all the points, Nathan, at the finish line today. I love this format. We can talk about anvils and feathers and power-ups, but ultimately the scoring today will come down. It's linear. 80 points for the winner, all the way down to 1 point for the 80th placed rider. So here we go. This climb, Nathan, it's an interesting one. As the average, if you look at it, 4.3% doesn't sound that hefty, but the fact is it's really about a 7.5% climb, because the last part of it you're going downhill or kind of rolling through, which really brings down the average grade that you've got out here. So this is a stiff climb. Look at that, 12% grade right now.
Yeah, and Katie Hill, we saw her in the Zwift Grand Prix on the Alpe Zwift, actually, with a solid ride coming in for third place, actually. And we're seeing exactly why she was able to do that here in ZGP just a couple of weeks ago. Now on the Zwift Racing League, taking on this climb from the get-go, Dave, 6 watts per kilogram from the bottom, and taking that, it looks like, right to the top. She's already got 7 seconds on that field. Initially, we did see Welte there coming out of Germany making some early moves just to kind of temper the field. But now at this point, Dave, it is on fire at the front. All of the irons are in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing, to tell you the truth. You want to talk about bold. Well, Hill is exactly that. This is what Aeonian is all about. Grab the bull by the horns. Now, Emilia Velti is the rider sitting in second, but you can see that she's not able to match the power that Katie Hill is putting together here. So, Nathan, it wouldn't be quite wire to wire, but could we watch Amelia go all the way to the finish line and collect 80 points? It's not impossible that this could go to the line. I know I'm a dreamer, but as we take a look at the Aeonian rider here, she is crushing Fox Hill right now.
Yeah, we could see Katie. I think with the amount of distance that she could build up from the bottom to the top of this climb, if they don't start to chase this in any way, she could stay away. I have a feeling Aeonian are just going to sit in. They've got the sprinters for it.
Perfect.
They really do. They have the perfect team for this kind of a move. As I look through the start list here, let's see. We've got Hexagon has shown up in force. Hexagon have Emily Julie Foden. We've got Lawrence Motas. We've got Marine Main and Malene Proust. Now, those riders, I think they might be sitting in a little bit more versus Aeonian with Ellie Sykes, Helen Watts. We've got Katie Hill here, Sabrina Kurtel, and Wendy Matthey. I think the rest of that team, looking at their profiles, Dave, they're going to be wanting to just let Katie go do her thing while they wait for maybe some late attacks.
You couldn't find a better scenario, Nathan, than what Aeonian has created right here. If you think about it, bike racing 101 is have a strong rider attack, let things sort out. You can see that gap is settled in at about 15 seconds as Katie's backed off the power a little bit, but her teammates no one gets to relax out here in London, but they can sit back, stay in the wheels, and conserve as much as they can to be ready for a counterattack. It does look like Katie's going to come back to the group now.
I'm not sure that this is needed, even though I'm wondering if something said, oh, okay, maybe this isn't going to stick. I'm not sure, maybe somebody made a call here, because I think she could have kept going a little longer.
Well, look at her power now, down to, pretty reasonable for her at 4 watts per kilogram. But she is going to come back into the group. But look at the damage that she did. Maybe that was the game plan today here, Nathan, as she put half of the field out the back door. here?
Yeah, as we look at this, I mean,
Like
look
an
at the back
unwanted
here,
cat?
Dave. That's a great point because BL13, 187 beats per minute here for McMillan. We're seeing behind her the DBR rider here with Christensen also falling off the back. Elise is here, 171 beats per minute. Fouet as well for the Netherlands. I mean, this, the NL team coming out of Belgium, but it looks like Olim, just riders, like you said, Dave, it's just a train off the back here.
Welcome to season 2, ladies. As I tell you what, I mean, within 4.2K, there has been a dramatic start to this season here. So we talk about points going 80 deep. Everybody's got a lot to fight for out here, and things can change. But Nathan, as we take a look at this front group right now, we're going to be looking at nothing but heavy hitters. I mean, even some top riders like Christensen here, who I would expect to be riding up in this group. The Danish rider is a real talent, and she will come back into the group. I think maybe just a momentary, a tough spot to get through. But these riders are all right now scraping the bottom of the barrel, and we are not even 10 minutes into season 2 here.
It's going to be a tough one here for McMillan. She's kind of in no woman's land here, trying to spin over the top. 186 at 5 seconds, 6 seconds, Dave. That's going to roll away so quickly. If she gets a couple of riders here to work with her, anvils are up for grabs up and over the top. That's going to keep things even quicker as they come over the top of this climb. Now, it looks like 21 riders, 22. Okay, is it swapping spots? A whole bunch there, it looks like. It's trying to figure out what position exactly Kent is in. 22. I think it's going to settle in on around 22 here in place that she is in. Be here from Synergy. These two need to get on terms, though. If this goes, that can go so quickly.
Especially with the anvils, Nathan. Once they load up with 20 anvils in that front group, if you are not in contact, I think that ship sails. You watch it roll out of the port, and there's no swimming up to the ship. So, yeah, it's do or die right now for these two. Well, I shouldn't say do or die, but if they want to get up and get into the points at a higher level, they need to be in that front group. I'm pulling for them.
Yeah, and it looks like at 3 seconds, they're going to have to, well, I think the best bet here at this point, from my experience on this, get it into that 57 kilometers per hour as quickly as you possibly can. As soon as you get into that downhill, then start with little punches to try and get that speed up, but don't waste a lot of consistent energy on the downhill. We're not looking at a threshold effort on the downhill. Just keep the speed as high as you can. Little punches with super tucks over the top. We'll see if they're able to do that here, Dave, because really the place where they're going to bring this back, that is going to be on the long, drawn-out flat. Now, they could have shared that instead. Double anvil here is not going to help them a whole lot.
And the problem is, Nathan, that's one of the things about racing on Zwift in esports is they're not in real life right next to each other to be able to say, you go and then I'll go kind of thing, right? So they're a little bit of a victim of circumstance there that they weren't able to coordinate using those anvils, because you're 100% right. They could have really doubled up, not quite doubled up, but certainly maximized that power up there. And I hate to say it, Nathan, but they're going to have to really fight if they want to rejoin now, because this is a big problem.
Yeah, this is. And at 6 seconds, not going to be coming back, I think, at this point. Now, I did see some time brought back without, there not a whole lot of attacks. Once they get into the streets of London, we may be able to see them come back to this, but we are seeing some speed here coming through. And look at this, Dave, off the front with that anvil. It looks like Hexagon, I believe that is the one that are making the real
Marine
move. Proust?
Yeah, Marine Mo. Yeah. Oh, and now we're up with Proust. Okay, so Nathan, this is the new reality of racing in esports is that they attack on the downhill just like in Tour de France. You are never safe out here, and it looks like we have got a serious move going clear. So this right now is going to be back to Katie Hill here, the Ionian rider, trying to cover as she's on Dravoigen's wheel here, the Hexagon rider. So Hexagon has been extremely active out here today. Hexagon at one point was almost entirely a French team, but as they've grown, they picked up a lot of nationalities. And look at that, like a rocket ship. That is going to be another Ionian rider. So this team now is firing off missiles left, right, and center as Curtil goes.
Curtil now off the front by just a little bit, just a couple of meters here able to be gained as you are seeing behind them. Oh, the pack now comes flying
Spicy.
up those 70 kilometer per hour plus as Curtil gets caught here, the French woman, unable to make any distance. But Dave, little moves like that, they're worth it sometimes if nobody responds. Oh yeah, that'll be brought back. The roll through is fast enough usually. Sometimes, though, Dave, they do see a little daylight and they're able to get something moving, or at least put a little pressure. Only 17, I think there's going to be more like 20 or so riders making this front pack. That's whittled down enough, Dave, that most likely it could cause some alarm bells to go off, and somebody could go away from this point forward if they really wanted to and had the power to do so.
20 riders is such an interesting size group. I see a new name to us here in ZRL. That's going to be Katie Leigler there. Katie, a racer out of Louisville, Kentucky, who was one of our national cyclocross champions for many years here in the United States. First time I've seen her racing in this format, so good to see Kate Leigler out here, and she made the front group today. So that's significant to be in this group, to tell you the truth. If you're relatively new to esports racing on Zwift, this has been an epic throwdown, and we're only out on lap number 1. It's 30K of racing out here, 2 laps in London. Fox Hill, the featured climb, they've been up it once, so they've weathered that storm. A lot of people anticipating that the group would have the first time over that climb, and they were pretty much spot on.
Leigler now jumping into this climb here. This is always an interesting one, this leaving the underground with that punch in the face of a uphill grind. If she's a cyclocrosser, she'll know exactly what those are all about. Exactly. That's exactly the kind of terrain that they like. Another rider that's newer to the world of racing with esports amongst this kind of crowd, that's going to be Tilly Fields. Now, she, in real life, coming out of Australia, I believe she was riding for, I want to say, Rock Salt. I may be wrong about that. I
believe you're correct.
Okay, but now has been picked up this season by Movistar as an esports team. So great to see. And she actually jumps into the Zwift Grand Prix as well. Has been putting out some good content over on YouTube. So watch out for that. But she's made this front pack. Good on her. And I think she likes this little bit more punchy kind of course. Watch out for her if it comes down to a sprint.
That's a really good tip, Nathan, for sure. As we take a look at our front group here, I think everybody now, as you see them fanning out across the road, going to chill their jets a little bit, realizing that it's going to go down in a major way on Fox Hill the next time up that climb. Nathan, let's talk about the finish, because it's a downhill sprint today, and it's going to be, I think chaotic would be underselling what it's going to be like as the ladies come to the line here. Would you save your power up, your anvil for the sprint? I think I would.
Yeah, I think the sprint is going to be all about that anvil, actually. If you do save it for that, it's going to gain a good amount of time. You're going to be collecting a feather power-up as they come through the start-finish banner. And
use
then,
that on Fox, right?
And exactly. Look for the really steep points on Fox, or perhaps even,
I'd use it early.
Counter. You would use it early? You'd want to be...
on Fox. Yeah, I would use it right at the last part of the steep pitch, about 2/3 of the way up the climb. I think that might be a spot where you could put them in a little bit of trouble there.
That's where a whole lot of riders have been using it too, actually. We've seen that a ton. I'm always like, the way I think about power-ups is like, use it at the moment that I absolutely have to. I'm in trouble and I'm reserving it. If I can get by without, I'm a defensive man, especially with the climbing. Oh man.
So I fully get that. And so my mindset would be defensive with the feather power up on the climb, just to try to catch a breath, catch a little bit of a break, possibly, and then offensive with that anvil, not using it on the descent that would be obvious, but saving it. I think we have seen this technique used successfully in the last month with riders saving their anvil past the major descent and using it for a place where you might not think it was logical, but it turned out to be.
We're looking here now. Pack definitely has chilled out. I wonder if there's any chasers here, Dave, because this is where time could be brought back. Oh, we do see Synergy, though, making their way to the front. A little bit of a push on here now, as perhaps they don't want anybody coming back into the field.
Doesn't have a teammate. Right, the Synergy rider there had no teammates back in that group, so why not go on the offensive here?
That's a good call. Lundgren here.
I mean, if you've got it in your legs, so
Looks
back in with
like.
Lundgren. I
Now,
race like a girl has
15
at least.
seconds here, Dave, and a little bit of motivation. It looks like at 185 beats per minute, though, not thinking about the second climb on Fox Hill, actually dropping the pack. We saw this in the race, in the men's race last week with Zwift Grand Prix. Well, if you were watching the stream, you didn't see it, but I saw it because I got dropped right off the bat on the climb. And in the chases, a lot of motivation just was not there to bring back any kind of time. I think a lot of people were thinking Fox Hill's coming again, and I've got to reserve some energy because I absolutely got smashed on that climb. On my side, I was a little bit more motivated to bring something back, so I went for it, pulled some threshold efforts all the way through, and actually was able to catch groups, but not the front group. It's a little bit different catching the front group versus groups that are blown up.
Yeah, exactly. So taking a look now, it looks like this might come back together here as well as we make our way through lap number 1. But I think everybody's got Fox Hill on their mind again now, Nathan.
Yeah, and looking at Christensen here now, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Not super interested at this point to bring them back, but it may just be happening from a little bit of a push on here from Jax. Jax, interesting enough, actually chasing her teammate a little bit now as she presses on in the front here. Lundgren from iRace Like a Girl is still pushing that 4.7 watts per kilogram. We'll jump back up to the front group, but they are full Grupo Compacto. 15 seconds and almost within sight, but we've got Synergy off the front.
Yeah, but I think that everything is pretty under control if you're back in this group. We were talking about riders
not
like
Synergy. Is it Synergy?
It's
Oh, it is. Okay.
And that's going to be Amelia Velti, the Avis Synergy rider, who's been one of the animators out here. I would say one of the most active riders that we've seen throughout the day, and she is back at it now, dropping the hammer here. Great to see Kate Ligler really taking to esports here, riding up in the front of that chase.
187 beats per minute. Velte
That's a lot.
here. She is flying, actually. Good on her. This girl has, from what I'm seeing here, 20 minutes at 5.43 watts per kilogram. Whew. She,
wow.
Be on the watch out for this German. Let's see, looking through here, she has had some crazy results. And level 33 Zwifter, 42 races in, all with dual recordings through here as well. For any of those that are raising eyebrows, this is pretty cool to see a newer rider coming in from Synergy here.
Yeah, and as you said, that dual recording really is a game changer as far as the eyebrow raising. I mean, this is very, very impressive as she continues to press on. The gap is getting close to 10 seconds now. The biggest gap we've seen all day was Katie Hill going up to, I think, about 16 seconds before she pulled the pin on Fox Hill. She did the damage there on the steep part of the climb and then backed off a little bit and really did some assessment of the damage that was done back to that peloton, which was extensive. Basically, we've been status quo since that point, Nathan, is we've this peloton now, or actually I should call it the front group now. The real story has been the German Velti in this attack, because she's still continuing to roll this out. And I mean, you look at the data, the numbers that she's put up in the past, historically, Nathan, I wouldn't be jumping up to bet against her right now.
No, 13 seconds here at this point, Dave. Not a whole lot of. I think there's going to be what will actually happen. From my guess is that there's going to be a couple in the pack that are like will jump across on the climb.
I agree,
and completely
and Katie Hill will be one of
apart.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that. So what you're looking at is the fuse here with Velti. She has lit the fuse. Now it's burning towards that bomb, but it hasn't hit the bomb yet. But when it does, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, she now has the largest advantage that we've seen all day here at 16 seconds. So she throws more coal on the fire. They're starting to ramp up the chase, but not cohesively. I mean, she now at 17 seconds. Matthew attacking the Aeonian rider, going to take matters in her own hands.
She saved the anvil for this moment. I love it. And look at this style that she's got. This is nice, actually. The backwards cap, the 2023 here,
Hipster.
Backwards cap on. Look at the Neokyo. I mean, this is, I got to give this some serious kudos here. Seriously, like, I'm loving the accents with the green. This is well put together kit actually.
Anna Russell, I would think, is loving this as well in New Zealand. I'm impressed. So, well, Aonia never misses a step. That's for sure. But here we go. It just got real out here, Nathan. I think that the racing really now kicks into another gears. Look at the names that we've got moving up to the front. We're going to hear more from Drehovden today as well, the Norwegian on Hexagon. Hexagon's going to be a big part of this conversation, but now is the time when the heavy hitters are making their way up to the front as we start to approach what's going to be a critical moment in this race.
Yeah, and now the question is, how's the chase going to go with 20 seconds now with Velte here? Lundgren now makes with the front there for I Race Like a Girl. Now onto the chase, it looks like, and this looks like some speed coming on in 44 kilometers per hour versus on the front here at 44 as well. So she's matching the pack at this point. 19 seconds till the field now to the front, it looks like. 2 riders now stringing things out. 4 riders actually. Synergy's there. BL13's there as well with Sharp, it looks like. So a little bit of speed now starting to come in as they're starting to think about that lead into Fox Hill, and it is stringing out across the line.
Yeah, that really is a great point, Nathan. You can see that the activity, the effort really starting to increase back in this peloton as they realize the danger now is that advantage going out to 20, but it's starting to come down now. So they've got the 20-pound sledgehammer out and they are wailing away. Although, actually, now that I say that, they could do a little more work. I don't think they're as concerned as maybe I was anticipating that they were back in this group. They do realize that one of the tougher climbs in Zwift, Fox Hill's coming up.
Yeah, wealthy here though. Continuing on, 4 point. Now the question is, will she fade a little bit? And 18 seconds. It's a good amount of time to work with. How much do you think she needs to make it solo over the top?
I mean, when you think about it, Nathan, that's such a tough number to estimate. I mean, to me, that to even and that's the problem is you have to do so much effort to build up that time. You pay a massive price. So I don't know that I really have a number, but 30 seconds comes to mind.
Yeah, that sounds about.
But even
seconds.
then, if she had built up a 30-second advantage, she will be running on vapors, on fumes for the back half of that climb, which means they'll be bringing back 10 seconds per 500 meters at that point, or even more than that. You know what I mean? So it is really, really tough to forecast what's going to happen for her. But, if you look at it historically, she can keep making these kind of numbers, 4.4 watts per kilo for Amelia Velte, the German rider here on the front, the Avis Synergy rider, who certainly is the woman of the day, the woman of the match. Now it's going to be Dryhovden, the Norwegian on Hexagon. She's moved up to the front here.
Yeah, Dryhovden
leading
now,
the chase.
Lundgren. Good call there, David. It looks like I Race Like a Girl again. Lundgren tends to be putting on a lot of work, actually, for I Race Like a Girl. We've seen her on the front a ton. We've seen her on the chase a bunch as well. So definitely motivated, that's for sure. Hexagon now with Drehoven to the second wheel. They're going to start setting up for positioning here, Dave. A few riders at the back. Watch out for Katie Hill. We saw her from bottom to about halfway at about 6 watts per kilogram or so, 5 to 6 watts per kilogram on this climb last time. We'll see if she goes and blows this field up again.
Yeah, the thing about Fox Hill climb is you start climbing before you get to the climb, which is cruel. Not many climbs are you climbing to get to the bottom of the climb.
Yeah, looks
that's
like
the case here.
Drehoven now 5.5, Hill 6.2, Lundgren 4.6.
And look at Welty, Nathan. Watch her numbers. Like at this point now, it's going to be all coming down. I don't expect to see a number higher than 18 seconds here. So let's see what she can hold on to.
7.2
here comes Hill
for a moment there from Hill. Full on, out of the saddle type attack. Now, Drehoven now trying to hang on, but that's going to be bye-bye. We may have 2 up ahead. She might close this down pretty quickly, settle in and start working with Velte or just go right on by. Can anybody respond is the big question.
I don't think so, Nathan. To tell you the truth, I'm anticipating the woman that you've got queued up on screen right now ends up winning this race today. Katie Hill has shown some patience out here. You can see that she is absolutely wailing away right now here at the bottom part of the climb. This is going to be the best spot for her. The next 3 minutes of racing, I would not be surprised to see her bring this back.
7 days she brought back. Look at how quickly that came back. On the
Yikes.
10%, I mean, that was just bam, down to 4 seconds. This rider, I mean, it's going to be right in front of her.
So,
There,
I mean,
she doesn't even have to
Velty
wait.
makes a
She goes
yeah,
right
she
by
makes a
if she wants to.
yeah, Velti's got nothing to answer with here. I mean, the problem for her is she made such a huge effort, as we were talking about, to try to, even if she had 30 seconds now, Nathan, she'd be getting caught shortly. So, yeah, there really wasn't a number as far as the magic number for what she needed at the bottom of the climb to be able, maybe it was 2 minutes or something crazy like that, to tell you, just because Katie Hill rode with not only her legs but with her brain as well out here, didn't take the bait. At one point I was thinking, should she have covered that attack from Velti? Would that have been the move? But no, she played her cards perfectly here, sitting back in that group, not letting it go past 20 seconds. She let other riders do most of that monitoring of the gap there, and she knew what she could do. She knew what she had in the bank, and she's now just crushing Fox Hill here.
14
This looks like a
seconds
winning
now.
move to me.
Yeah, the only thing is, can she hold on to any kind of attacks that may come from the pack? If they start working together in any kind of way, somebody could maybe come across. This is a smart move for her, though.
Ladies.
11 watts per kilogram for a kick, though, from Katie Hill as well. I was about to say this is a rider who might not have the sprint to go up against some of these riders, but Dave, she's got 11 watts per kilogram for 15 seconds as well. So this isn't like this is a climber who doesn't have a kick and is just going away. Even if she's caught by a smaller group, she's still a danger woman in and amongst that group when it comes to going to the line.
We've got a long season ahead of us, Nathan, but I have a feeling that Katie Hill's going to be a big part of the conversation over the next, through the rest of this year. That's for sure. She's not coming back in my mind now. She sees 80 points up there. It's like a carrot dangling in front of her, and it looks to be incredibly, I mean, watch this gap going out. It's 22 seconds. What's impressive to me is that Velti is holding on at the front of that group. So as they make that catch, Katie Hill is going to be on a different universe by the time she gets to the top of this climb.
We see a lot of hexagon making the way to the front. Actually, all four of the riders, I believe, they're making their way to the front of this race now to try and maybe work together on that downhill. They were really intelligent about the downhill. One thing Katie does need to be thinking about, I mean, she can't do anything about it. The only thing she can really think about is just putting as much time as she possibly can into this pack, because they will have the opportunity to use anvils in succession of each other all the way down. Now, whether or not this pack will have the mindset to say only one or two at the front with an anvil at a time, or if they all just start throwing them all at the same time, or, whether or not they work together with their anvil placement is going to be a big question, because Katie's only going to have that for a short period of time on that downhill, and then matching a pack with nothing but anvils is going to be a hard thing to do. We'll see how she can pull that off.
Can anvils get you half a minute, though? I think the answer is no, to tell you the truth. 30 seconds here, that the descent isn't that long. I'm with you. I mean, that's going to be their hope, is that they can have a cohesive, organized, I mean, it's still going out as Katie Hill is a wattage cottage right now. Drehoven, the hexagon rider, is certainly leading that chase now, but Aeonian, I guess now is a great time to mention that even if Katie Hill picks up these 80 points, that in no way guarantees the win on the day for Aeonian. She's going to be relying on her teammates picking up big points back in this group as well. So hexagon, 79 points isn't that different than 80 if you get second out here. So it's really going to come down to the field lieutenants on these teams, the riders that make up the spots between 5th and 20th, that are going to decide, in my mind, what team takes the top spot today. Katie Hill is riding out of her skin right now. The Aeonian rider is world class.
Look at all the feather power. It's exactly where you said, Dave, and now it's blowing things up behind here. Drehoven now coming from Hexagon, now on the move. It looks like 9% gradient. Hexagon following plenty of their riders able to make this move. 4 of them, it looks like, able to go here. Tilly Fields just hanging on from Movistar. London's there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders. It looks like 9 riders going away.
SC with 2, Nathan. That's not bad, but right now, Hexagon, it's fascinating to me what a great job Martin has done setting up the ZRL. Because, Nathan, right now you'd say, well, there you go, Katie Hill and Aeonian, they got this one. Well, that's not even close to the case, because right now, really, the team in command position is Hexagon.
Yeah, Matthew here trying to get back on Ligler's wheel, as well as Kristen Yax. Those are going to be the other Aeonian riders that are going to have to do something here. Bring this field back. That's going to be a huge ask for them to be able to do so here, as Ligler leads the charge here. Matthew, Frachter, and then Yax. It's going to be right behind there with Team NL, as well with Valkenburg. That's the chase group trying to bring this back, it looks like here.
Aeonian has to rejoin this group, Nathan, if they want to win the day and back up that effort from Katie Hill. And this is going to be really, really tough for them to do. Right now, Hexagon is in perfect position. Well, yeah, maybe not perfect.
There's a lot of motivation from this whole group, it looks like. Soderstrom goes to the front as well. Movistar doesn't want this coming back. This is a motivated group. Even though there's 4 Hexagon riders here, Dave, every single team that's involved here benefits by dropping the Aeonian.
Yeah, I mean, Movistar is going to be looking at, hey, maybe we can get right up there with Aeonian. Same thing with Swedish Swifters. So everybody in this group that you've got on screen right now has got a lot to race for here. And it isn't just about catching. As a matter of fact, Nathan, catching her isn't going to be the name of the game here today. Although, it's still possible. 32 seconds. That ship hasn't completely sailed. But at this point now, Katie Hill is putting on a clinic on Fox Hill. Riders behind her are going to be scrapping for points. Again, 80 points for the winner, 79 for second. And we just work our way down 1 point at a time all the way down through our top 80 riders here. This is the first race of season 2, and it has turned into an absolute Donnybrook out here in London, or Surrey Hills.
Continues on here, using a lot of energy on the downhill. 6.3 watts per kilogram here. I mean, there we go. We're seeing the super tuck being employed here now. Look at it. See how the speed goes up the moment she stopped pedaling there? Actually, it went up. And so, like, now she's going to punch a little bit and then keep that going. I'm just trying to give, for those who are out there that are watching, there is a tactic to this, to punch and then get your speed up as high as you can once you're over 57. There she goes.
She's
makes it happen now. Up to 65, and you see immediately the gradient hasn't changed. It's still 5%. She has 2 kilometers per hour faster than she did before. If she punches again, she may even get it up a little bit more, especially into this 8% downhill. I wonder if she saved her anvil for the steepest parts of the descent as well. We'll have to see. I'm not sure if she used it just yet. I don't think she has. She may be saving it for the finish line in case she's caught, though.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think she's better off to use it here, as far as trying to build up a little bit more of a buffer than saving it for the finish line. That would be my thought. We'll see what her thought is. She's absolutely
she's gone away more.
Legend.
She's
Gap
gone
is now
away.
At 36. Yeah,
I was thinking this was coming back more, but they have not done any kind of damage. Everyone's thinking about the sprint at the end, Dave. They're saving their anvils.
They should be, to tell you the truth. Racing for the win is a fool's errand at this point if you're back in this group. For this group, you've got to be racing for the 79 points.
FPL13's on the chase, though, Dave. Sharp's here. Valkenburg. There's a couple of riders that saying, you're not getting away from us. They're 5 seconds, 4 seconds. They're bringing it back so fast. Look at that speed, 72, 71. And you see Movistar, look at 62. They're coming back. This chase group's going to make it back to this front group easily at this point. They might go flying by. I wouldn't say they're going to drop them or anything, but I have a feeling they're going to come up to them and go by them at the kind of speeds that they're holding.
Well, this is going to nearly double the size of this group here. So that's the dangerous game that you play. If you're not chasing or working hard enough in that group, you have riders coming back into the back door, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. It's relatively rare on Zwift that we see groups increasing in size at this point, but it speaks to the tactical level has gone up quite a bit in the racing over the last few years that we've seen. This is a good example of that going on right now.
Yeah, we do have 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 6, 7, 6 riders making it back, but that's going to be the Ligler group with Team NL is there as well. Aeonian with a couple of riders, Kristen Yax, Matthew is there. They're going to get back involved, and this is huge for this Aeonian team. Big
huge.
Time.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you know who's got to be happier than anyone is Katie Hill. on the front because she's watching her teammates having her back right now, and that she has a much better chance of having her individual win today turn into a team win with the way that they've been riding over the last few K. So that's a big one for Aeonian right there.
A lot of distance to cover still, but with 43 seconds and the kind of power she's holding, Dave, this seems completely over. It has gone out, and the riders behind here, they're all racing for second place. As Katie Hill, she just needs to keep the power on and pedal to the line now, as the rider out of Great Britain is at 183 beats per minute. Dropped the ball on the second Fox Hill. We got a little taste of that power the first time over. She said, okay. I think it was kind of like, well, can I do this? Are they ever going to respond to me? She got a little like preview climb before she went all in.
She kind of won this bike race twice out here today. Well, she hasn't won it once yet. I should hold off on that, but certainly looking really, really good. Is this maybe even going to go out to a minute for Katie Hill? So unlocking legend status. This is the danger woman, if you ask me. Drehovden has been phenomenal out here in this group. She's done a lot of the chasing, and the Hexagon rider now, they can't be too happy about seeing Aeonian reinforcing themselves in this group, but Hexagon still, in my mind, Nathan, I think that they're the most likely team to have top points at the end of the day. We still got a lot of racing ahead of us, though.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out here with Hexagon. They're going to, they've got the numbers here for sure. The other teams that are involved, everybody's only got, it looks to me, a maximum of two riders. Aeonian, right. SZ, we're seeing their Movistar as well. But if they stack the front, then they have three because they have Katie Hill and the other two. So
right. I was going to say that, right, with two in this group, it's kind of 2 + 1. But Hexagon, is it Hexagon with 3 or 4 here? It's 3, isn't it?
I know. Here's the thing. Drehoven is in all orange. I have a feeling for some reason her jersey did not load, and so that's why it looks like that she's not riding maybe a newer rider to the team. Perhaps, and that's the reason why.
That's a really good guess. And this is the Norwegian that we've got right here in the center of your screen that we're looking at. So this is all of the points here. Katie Hill, the one rider that's up the road, and that conversation I think can wrap up pretty soon. But here come the attacks coming out of that group, and it's going to be Tilly Field, Nathan, the first rider to attack, and we're down to around 5K of racing, and now the counter is coming. It's going to be Drehovden again. So the Hexagon rider going to counter after that move from Field here.
Yeah, good move by Drehoven to cover that real quickly. I'm looking back through the racing here from Drehoven, and from what I'm seeing here, Dave, is she newer to the team? I'm just double checking if she rode for Hexagon.
It feels that way. Well. And this is a new name to me, at least. And at this level, it's pretty rare that you see a new name. That's for sure. How about Engstrom's hair out here? I'm liking this. The Swedes.
Look at the coordination here from Movistar, though. That was not an accident. Tilly went, and then Soderstrom over the top. They are definitely communicating.
Absolute setup.
The second that Drehoven covered, then the rest of the pack came through, and then bam, Soderstrom went. This is nothing but the games of 1-2, 1-2, cat and mouse here, Dave. Drehoven covers now. Motus is there. I'm looking for another attack after this.
It really makes sense, Nathan. Movistar is one of the sophisticated racing outfits that we've got here in esports. But even that being said, now it's going to be, again, with Hexagon trying to make their mark out here. I got to say that Drehovden has brought a lot to the race out here today. And whether she picks up the maximum points that she's looking for or not, clearly this is a rider to watch as we are witnessing a lot of heart on the front of this bike race right now.
A little bit of distance now for riders. You can't let things like this go, Dave. They can get out of control real quickly. They've got 10 meters, and if they continue on, this may start to split this chase group. Katie Hill's got 54 seconds up the road at this point. Drehoven's not going to be bringing her back, but she may be snapping this field apart now at this point. Tilly Field's making an attack, and then her teammate Soderstrom came over the top and then put herself out the back, it looks like. Soderstrom now back to the front, though. It looks like everything Grupo Compacto again, Dave. Will there be another counter?
So Drehovden is a level 42 Zwifter, so she's spent her time on the platform, but doesn't have a tremendous amount of racing experience. We are definitely going to hear a lot more from this rider as we go back again. Things settling down for a moment. It's just going to go haywire out here, Nathan. I love the fact that we've got Movistar trying to set each other up, going now back to the very, very front of the bike race and the star of the day, the woman of the match, no question, Katie Hill here of the Aeonian team. So, Nathan, it's really going to come down to her teammates. They got to be even a little more motivated watching this ride from Hill today to try to back up her performance for the squad. But certainly coming out of race one in the top three teams, you can check a box for, at a minimum, a good start out here. But Aeonians looking for a great start to season 2.
Well, that's the question, too. Where are they going to go back-to-back here? Because they've got an all-star field, not only here with Katie Hill and the rest, Dave, but what I would say their A-plus team is showing up in our next broadcast for the ladies coming up here in about 20 minutes. So be on the watch out for that as well. The big question then is, are they going to win here against Hexagon and set up for a 2-for-2 across the European A races? That'll be interesting to see whether or not Ariel Verharn and the likes of the rest of the Ionian team out of Europe are able to make something happen there in our next coverage here. We'll be over with the men here in just a moment. Going to cover the rest of this race and then jump in with the men's race for the EMEA. Just double check I got the Western Div 1. They probably are up and over the top of their first climb, probably heading into their second here momentarily as they started 20 minutes after the ladies here. But these ladies are going to finish things up for us, and then we'll jump right on over to that men's race. Terhoven here, not making a chase, just keeping the pace high, it looks like, Dave, to cover anything that might make a move for this second place.
I'm going to be really interested to see where she finishes in this group. That's Emma Julie Drehovden that we're talking about right now, the Hexagon rider. She certainly has done the lioness's share of the work out here as Engstrom. So let's go back to the front now, though, and pick up our race leader. She's got this one in the bag, Nathan, with over a minute advantage right now. There's no bloom coming off this rose.
No, there isn't. And just real quickly, take a look at the mini map in the upper right-hand corner. You can see the finish line coming up just ahead. Uses that.
There's her power-up.
Her power-up she saved up to this moment. She's got the finish line within sights, and she opened up 1 minute and 5 seconds to the rest of that pack. So that will be the win.
She had the power-up, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, to opening things up a little bit more, just to put some salt in the wound. Second. It looks like Motus is on the attack. I want to get for sure the crossing of the line here. Then we'll get back to it. Will be a win for Katie Hill here at 5 watts per kilogram, crossing line 1 minute ahead. Motas now on the attack from Hexagon, and this is a similar move that we saw from her teammate Mikkel Planteru from Hexagon, actually up against Leonard Tugels, but Tugels came over the top. Is Engstrom going to pull a Lenny here as well? As Engstrom sits on the wheel, will she come up and over the top? Soderstrom trying to close it down, but I think it's between the Swedish rider and the French rider here at this point as Engstrom grabs onto the wheel and waits for the attack.
Boy, and it looks like the Swedes are going to take a lot of points out here as well, Nathan, as they may end up with 2 riders in the top 6 if things hold this way. Oh, Laurence Motas just burying herself. Now there's the anvil, so it looks like almost everybody is following that strategy of saving the anvil for this sprint, but they both are really neutralizing each other. Engstrom's going to try to come around. She makes one final surge to the line. It's going to be 1 point difference here at the line.
Right to the line, Dave. It's going to be Engstrom. Hang on. Engstrom makes it happen. Proust with attack. It looks like Soderstrom coming on through for 4th and then 5th. I believe it goes to Drehovden. Nice podium there. That's 6th. I think I made it 1.
Either way.
There, but good top 6 there.
I would say a great top 6 for all the work that she did for her team as well. So we have a tremendous amount of racing going on today, but we certainly would send you to WTRL.racing to find all of the results. And you can certainly dig in on a lot more data out there as we certainly have to give accommodations to the women for some great racing out here. And Nathan, already making her star for the season is Katie Hill of the Aeonian team. What a performance. That might be the ride of the day. We'll see. We got a long way to go, but I'm going to put her name in the hopper.
That was huge. That was amazing, actually. And I was definitely expecting. We saw, similar climbing coming in from her on the Alpe Zwift. So great on her. Second time up and over the top of the climb here for the men. This is going to be the men's EMEA Western 1 that we are jumping into. 12:30 start CST. And Dave, there's a bunch of World Tour pros in this race here. I'm seeing I don't know if I've ever jumped into a race and immediately saw 3 UCI World Tour pro jerseys in the front end of the race next to their names. Wow, TSK have shown up with some force. And we'll get the results from that ladies race up in a little bit here, everybody, but we definitely want to jump right in for the second half of the men's race here. And Williamson from TSK coming out of the Netherlands, absolutely smashing this Fox Hill.
All right, so just resetting now. So they're on Fox Hill for the second time. That's a pretty good-sized group, all things considered, Nathan.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking through here, David. I'm trying to get a good handle on exactly how many. Now, this is where the damage is being done. Clem here out of the Netherlands, unable to hang on. Right behind here, Level Racing, now 36th place. So, as you can see, that train's leaving the station here at this point, Dave. Yeah. Look at how the speed moving forward. They're doing 17 kilometers per hour, 22 toward the front here. Now, this is all the way in 30th place, Dave. 20th place, everything's just completely blowing apart at this point. 13th is going to be Santo here, TF here, trying to hang on. Miller, unable to do so. Oxen as well. Daunt there from Alpha, just barely making it over the top here with the rest of this pack. And there's going to be, it looks like 8, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 9 riders able to make this. 9 or 10 riders able to make this front group. Oxen might get back on terms at this point, so maybe have 11. So some stragglers there, Dave. This is a make it or break it moment.
Boy, what a moment to pick up this race. And now, Nathan, if that's the Oxen that I'm remembering from some of the speed that's going to be the Fusion rider out of he's a very strong sprinter. So that's a danger man in this group. The fact that he's made this selection says a lot about where he's at. So, all right, taking some inventory now. This is going to be really, really interesting. The guys that survive here, we're down to 10K of racing. So well into lap number 2 out in the Surrey Hills. And it looks like it's just been relentless out here.
Bullet coaching now. CTZ out of the Netherlands, 176 beats per minute. A little bit of a push off the front to make sure that maybe somebody doesn't get back on terms. Oxen here just barely able to do so. Does make it here. The big question now, I think, is going to be for Alpha up into 8.3 watts per kilogram with Verheyen. He's got a couple of riders here almost on his wheel. The big, worth using the anvil, I think maybe once it gets to the steeper parts. Oh, it's an early anvil.
There it is.
Early anvil. We'll see if that helps him out.
Yeah, maybe not perfectly played there, but we'll see. One thing's for sure, Nathan, I was looking at the bike choice for Oxen there, using, I believe that was a Vang with the disc wheel, which means that he believes it's going to be a sprint. And if he's saving his anvil and has that bike combo, should be in really good shape.
Good call there, Dave. It's the fastest bike when it comes to a sprint, especially on the downhill. A little bit of extra weight there. Good speed.
So I think that choice is paying off for him right now.
Interesting hexagon here with Flow Cycle Rider and using the old school kit. I like it. Cool to see as they're making their way on the downhill. I am seeing on the front now that is going to be, is that Alpha? No, that's going to be Jacobs here.
The Z jersey there, the old Greg LeMond jersey, that is, what team is he representing? I apologize, Nathan, but is that one of the Alpha riders in this group?
That's a good question. I'm going to move around a little bit here, see if I can find that rider. Heyman? No. Flow Cycle? No. We'll see if we can. Oh, there were TSK.
TSK. Okay, good. All right. Just wanted to get that clear. It's Williamson, the Dutch rider that we're talking about there.
Verheyen has kept this within. Look at this, and he is just smashing himself on this downhill. He's kept it within 5 seconds this whole way down too, as they all are just super tucking, and he is just demolishing himself.
There's got to be some kind of award for these efforts here. The never say die racer out here.
Verheyen, the Belgian.
There's nobody doing more work than him right
No,
now.
you're right. 5 watts per kilogram consistently nonstop here. 70 kilometers per hour, left-hand turn. And the thing is as he looks on the right-hand side of the screen, the time is going out from him. You know, that's the toughest part about these situations,
That's the reality.
isn't it, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, the physics of what the difference of being in a group versus chasing alone. This is when it really hits hard, is when you're in these moments. There's my pick today in the white jersey. And this, Nathan, that's part of what we've had over the last few months. We've been doing a lot of the BL13 races and just in general on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, just enough racing and enough repetition. And this man has been out there, I would say, talking about Oxen now, is the Fusion rider. He's been as active as anybody I've seen on the platform. That's got to count for something.
Looking through the...
He's getting his reps.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Watch out for Oxen. Big name to be watching out for. Now, interesting early attack before we actually hit the uphill out of the underground. I like it. Bullet coaching here. Williamson's there as well, following very quickly. And it's a smart move, in my opinion, as long as he can follow it up with a second punch, because anybody who's really suffering at this point is maybe going to get dropped off over the top of this here. Now it's going to be Cornelius coming up and over the top, 10 watts per kilogram.
This is
big punch here, Dave, and we may see elastic snapping.
Yeah, or not. And that's what I love about that moment. That might be the most intense 5 seconds that you see out here today, is just getting up out of the tube.
Yeah, looking backwards.
Everybody survived, though.
It looks like
we didn't have anybody get popped.
Happen. Yeah, good call there. This has actually gone out to 14. Poor Verheyen. He's going to get caught by Santo, and it looks like Miller.
He's better to go work with the guys now. Nice to see the Primor Racers Without Borders team out here.
Grubb.
Our Irish
Grubb
friends.
got dropped. If he's able to get back on terms with this front group, not the front group, but with this chase group, he's going to be a danger man for a top 20 result.
There's a lot of points there.
Yeah,
again, if you're just joining us, this is a scratch race, so we're just racing to the finish line. There's no bonification along the way. 80 points for the winner on down. And it's certainly, that second group, there's a lot of points back in that group for sure. With the small front group that we're looking at right now,
Alpha has dominated this, it looks like, Dave. Look at this.
No kidding. I mean, just like with the women earlier with Hexagon, even though they didn't have the race winner with Katie Hill and the Aeonian rider, they had so many riders in that chase group that it certainly looked like they were in a good position. I would say the exact same thing about Alpha here, Nathan.
Yeah, looking at the Alienware kit here, that is going to be the Alpha team, it looks like. Now, there's also Coalition out here as well. And I'm wondering what the name is on that Coalition team, because there is a Coalition Alpha, but I'm not sure there's two different, I am seeing some chatter coming through here over in chat, but I think we've got Alpha E Racing. Oh, big attack here from Williamson.
Vogels. Right, yep. Williamson, again. I always remember this was the kit that Bob Roll wore for a while as well in his career, even mountain biking in that Z kit going back to the late 80s, early 90s.
They got a little bit of distance here, just a little bit. We saw attacks on the downhill section actually immediately after this, through Trafalgar Square. They're going to take a right-hand turn in just a moment here. As you can see in the mini-map, it is a sharp right down toward the river. And, you get some distance here. You can stay away. You can get that speed up into 57 kilometers per hour, actually. Get a little super tuck and jump a couple of times. You can roll right down next to the river there at a pretty high speed and just continue right on. It's not a bad place to attack for a last couple of K.
Every rider would have picked up a Anchor KOM, and
Bankston says it's worse than ZGP. You see that? He says that was worse than Zwift Grand Prix. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they are attacking nonstop though here. If I can get a leaderboard, I don't have one. I don't know what their time was over the top of the KOM. That would really be the top. Whoa! Okay, was not expecting this. Full attack from Towle here with the speed. He does not want to sprint, that's for sure. Jacobs looks to cover it here real quickly. 65 kilometers per hour, 181 beats per minute, and he's got some distance.
What he's doing is setting up his teammate, Nathan. In my mind, this is perfect because now Torben Oxen, is going to be sitting back in this group. They're going to have to chase. That's the man that we're talking about. Can he pull off the win? Is his teammate setting him up here? I think so. We still have a few K of racing remaining now.
Yeah, good call there, Dave. That's a perfect attack because now they're off the front. The attacks start coming. Now, whether or not he can make the train, though, Dave, whether or not he can hold on all the way through all these attacks, I think he can. I think he's going to be just fine. We'll see, though, Dave. I mean, that's a big question. I think, though, that he is okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I believe he is. The reason that we're so hyped on this guy, or I am, is that we've seen him do this over and over. He's been getting his reps in. And at this point now, yeah, his teammate was trying to set him up. In my mind,
nobody wants to go to the line with him. Nobody does. Now, well, Flow Cycle's the only other one. Flow Cycle, watch out for Flow. He can make 14.9, but it's not raw power on a downhill sprint. So that's
Ruben
the thing.
Daunt. Ruben Daunt also, but I mean, raw power, he's up at 1,000, but then is Evan Dowse in this group? He's not. So Evan was unable to make this selection. He would have been one of the guys that would have been licking his lips getting ready for this sprint. That's for sure. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a sprint to me out of this group now.
These guys behind are just smashing themselves. Just real quickly, I got to say, the guys behind here are pulling like 5 spots per kilogram actually still at moments. Now they've chilled out, but for a second there, I was like, what are these guys doing? It looks like they're a little concerned here about the chase that's coming on. Cornelius now with a big move, it looks like, and he's looking to try and break this early as well.
Well, and he very well might be doing that as he's wailing away right now. They're going to run out of real estate very, very quickly here, and he knows that. So the chase is on. This is a big hit out, Nathan.
Hey,
Alpha's in good
per kilogram
shape
for like 5 to 10 seconds. I mean, that's an all-in move. There isn't going to be another one of those from him. Once he gets caught, it's game over.
Oh, can you imagine the lactic acid building up in his legs right now? That is a one and done type move, but it's certainly, again, when you talk about the fact that he's got teammates back in that group, it puts them in an advantageous situation here as he's got him on the ropes.
I think he's done it actually, Dave. I think that this is going to work out.
I'm going to hold off. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it certainly looks good. I'm always
this second attack though. This second, yeah, you're right. The second surge here. If there's another one that comes right here though, but is anybody going to want to do that? It's so risky to do it, to go at this moment because there's so much real estate yet to work with here. Cornelius is 10 seconds, Dave. 10 seconds with like 500-600 meters. I really think that Cornelius has pulled this off.
And so that's his teammates now, the Alpha riders. They seem to believe you, Nathan, because they're not going to chase their teammate back, but they are positioning. This is incredible for Alpha. If they can take the win and put 2 other riders in the top 5, that's going to be one of the biggest point totals that we're going to see across the nearly 20,000 racers, over 2,300 teams racing in the ZRL. This Alpha team might put the command performance of the day together here.
Cornelius just crossing the line. It's coming down to 4 seconds, Dave. Right to it here. But Vogel's done right to the line. Oxen has to take 4th. What a command performance there from Alpha. They went 1, 2, 3, Dave. 1, 2, 3.
That's incredible. And, to Alpha's credit there, they recognized that they had a problem with Oxen, and they managed it perfectly. They got out in front of that sprint. They didn't wait to go to the line with him. They put him under pressure and actually used him up. That was really, really solid racing from Alpha out here.
Yeah, there we go. Nice move there. Cornelius, very, very early move with a couple of bumps to go. Takes it down. It came down to 4 seconds. It was touch and go. If he would have backed off at all, we would not have seen the same situation. It looks like
if it was 100 meters further too.
Yeah,
it would have been really different. Yeah.
Great move by Alpha there. Amazing job. We'll jump across over to the ladies here in just a second. A couple of more still finishing up. I'm not sure we can get any more of them. Look at this is the usual the usual damage. This is always a good scene to see though, Dave.
The carnage.
After the carnage after the racing. Here we go. We'll get this in here. I mean, there's people just spread across the entirety of London. This is the most populated you see London, that's for sure. 6,867 people out here. Usually that's the Watopia numbers at this time of day.
Yeah, this is a fantastic course. What a great way to start the season. Straight ahead, nice and simple, scratch race, but with a real complication, the wrinkle being Fox Hill. What a feature that has been. All right, well, season 2, 23-24, off to a great start. And I think we're going to go back next up the ladies, I believe, as we have a great opportunity here to span the globe with racing. And there we go. Back to, Nathan, you were saying this Aeonian team, this might be their A team, to tell you the truth. You got Daniela Estrate out here, Ariel Verhaeren, obviously Amy Henderson, Vicky Whitelaw, Marina Arce, Femke Desi. So I've just run through the entire roster for that Aeonian team. That's one of the strongest teams in the history of esports.
Let's see if we can find the front end of this race.
And they're all riding on the back right now.
I want to see. And now, has anybody gone off the front? It's going to be a big question. No, it's just Team Castelli here making a little bit of a push, it seems like. And is that a new kit, or what are they using here? Because that is an interesting kit. I'm not sure. They've been waiting for the in-game kit. I'm not sure that's going to be a new one or not, or if that one was already in game. But good to see Castelli showing up here. I'm actually riding for the men's side of that team.
Yeah, what does your jersey look like?
So, well, on the women's side, they may have something a little bit different because ours is blue. So I have a feeling perhaps for the ladies, they've got something a little bit different there.
It looks like pretty cool, matching the bike there. I like the style.
It's a good look. It's a really good look.
It is a good look.
Make their way in. Now, they're only 3 minutes in. We get the full ladies race here. This is the first climb up on the top of Fox Hill, the opposite side of Box Hill.
They haven't even entered the climb proper yet. The road kind of tilts up about 2K in, and now they are here as the steep part hits first. The back end of the climb is nowhere near as challenging as the front-loaded part.
Speak to the Team Castelli quickly here, give you an idea of who's riding for this team, as they do have a rider on the front smashing. It is going to be, wow, there's so many ladies actually here. Now, Elizabeth Rico, Fabia Mar Ramadi. We've got one rider actually not coming out of Italy, but Slovenia, with Martina Zavek. And then Roberta Busone. It's going to be Celine Colombi. I'm probably like murdering these. And I haven't been learning my Italian as much as I should be. And Sophie Giovanni. Those are going to be the two riders coming in from Team Castelli, presented by Elite. She's got 2 seconds, trying to pull off maybe a little bit of what we saw from Katie Hill, but Rachel Brown, coming out of the UK, is going to cover that real quickly, right along with Charlotte Colclough. Big names here hanging out in this women's crowd. This is going to be women's EMEA Western 1. And this is the level of almost Zwift Grand Prix from what we're seeing here. Vicky Whitelaw there as well, Dave from Aeonian, trying on the chase.
Some big names. I see Lucy Collins is here as well for Wahoo Lacole. Natalie Stevenson of Toyota Cryo, and Charlotte. You mentioned Charlotte Colclough, Nathan. So, yeah, this is a world-class field that we're looking
Zoe
at.
Langham has shown up, Dave.
Is she? I'm not seeing. So it's interesting. Zoe probably hasn't raced a ton, as she's not making my top 20 based on her performances over the last few months. So good to see her back.
Langham. Second place
Langham
at
is
Worlds.
I was going to say, one of the best esports racers that we've ever seen in the discipline. So this is significant to see her out here.
Just making sure there isn't another Langham with Z Langham somewhere.
Because I'm not seeing her on my start list.
I'm seeing her at the bottom, literally at the very bottom of the start list.
So, 527 points. So she must not have been racing Zwift much lately. So I'm really glad to see her back.
Yeah, last races, I mean, it hasn't even been anything that would give you ranking. It's all been team time trials, actually. The last actual scratch race that she really did, she did an XRS, it looks like Monday Blues, just to kind of warm up. And then before that, it was a 3-hour Hilly Watopia, so And those ranking points that she got from those were huge. There was 87 and 72 for both of those races, which tells me that no, she hasn't been racing a whole lot. And so her best for the last 6 months or so are not very high. They're all the way back in January for the last ZRL. She did not participate in ZRL actually recently in the first round. So this is the first time we've seen Zoe really since World Championships, really at any kind of significant way.
Yeah, I have a feeling Zoe's been really busy with real life. She works for the National Health Service as a nurse, and that's a full-on legitimate profession.
Is she still? I think
is that changed?
Yeah, I think she may have stepped away. I'm not positive that's still true.
Okay.
But there was a post earlier this year where I think she stepped away from that for a little while. But maybe
to be
she
an
got
athlete,
back in.
possibly.
Yeah, I think
make
there
a
was
run
a change of focus here, perhaps. But definitely.
Well, I could understand that. She has the talent and the ability, and there's almost no way that someone could be a full-time nurse, right? I mean, that's just such a taxing job and takes so much out of you that being a professional athlete and a nurse at the same time doesn't seem like a realistic mix.
That was the vibe I was getting a little bit there.
Yeah.
She was really working hard, and kudos to her for how hard she was working here. Now, Gallegos, that was interesting, almost as if she had I think Gallegos is having dropouts. I hope she can figure that out because she's disappearing and there are no ghosts. So
right,
I really hope that she can figure out that internet situation that's going on there. There she is again. So she is able to stay here. Now, the hard thing when you're having that situation is that everyone disappears and you just have to keep hammering and hope that you're on a wheel. That's the tough part of that here. Now, the hard thing for everybody else is there's a rider who is a phantom on course. So
exactly.
There isn't really much that you can do about that. That's just an internet issue that's happening right now, trying to figure out if Gallegos is here or not. She continues on, though, and jumps onto Castelli's wheel here. They've got 7 seconds. I don't think that this is going to keep. I think this is just going to blow up the pack behind a little bit and drop some riders off, but they will be caught.
Agreed, but this will do damage as well. So it serves a purpose, that's for sure. As we take a look at our two leaders right now, starting to look though, Rachel Brown, downtown Rachel Brown, a world-class duathlete. So she's up there swinging away, and that's certainly going to have an impact. Nevin there for Coalition as well, and now Zoe Langham is now up on the front. So quality is going to be quality, Nathan. Even though we haven't seen Zoe out here racing a lot, clearly her genetic makeup, her DNA is world-class. And Zoe Langham's going to be a tough rider to beat out here today. She rides with the Wahoo LaCole team. There comes her teammate, Lucy Collins, as well. So Wahoo LaCole making some moves.
There it is. Now, who is this rider? I'm not familiar with the BL13 rider here. Val Murray. For triathlon, looks like, but she's got a check mark next to her name. So obviously, coming from the tri world, is this a professional triathlete coming out of New Zealand? Would that be? Gonna keep eyes on her as it looks like BL13 made a pickup here, and be on the watch out because coming over the top of Box Hill and being the rider who's leading to bring that back a little bit just a moment ago tells me that this lady's got an engine on her.
And especially when you look at the other riders, the quality of riders in that group, Nathan, that's a really good point. Does Aeonian actually have 4 in this group, I believe, or is it even 5? Have still entire team made it up into this front group? Most of the ladies are there. It looks like 5 made this selection now, as Ariel Verhaeren, the American Olympian, in this group. And certainly Ariel's been a force to be reckoned with over the last few years in this sport.
Look at the back of this group, Dave. It's just
the entire
Aeonian
team. Yeah.
Sitting in.
And is that ominous or what, Nathan? When they're sitting back there, chill as can be at a, not conversation pace, but they don't look like they're in any trouble at all. And certainly with another trip up Fox Hill, as we're getting stuck in right now, I have a feeling that they are playing the waiting game right now. They definitely believe in their ability.
Yeah, nice job by Aeonian here. We'll see if they're able to pull something off. They have been the dominant force for sure amongst this crew. BL13, they've got 2 riders. WLC though, they are the other team that's I think ones to watch out for. They've got
Do they
3.
have 4?
I think they
Okay.
have 3. I think it's 3. I'm going to
So,
double check those numbers here.
I mean, I hate to be the rain on the parade for the other teams, but right now you've got to get rid of some of these Aeonian ladies if you want to have a chance to be the top team out here today, because if they can ride with 5 in this group, they're going to be almost unbeatable.
Yeah, and I mean, going to the line with the likes of Verhaaren too, most likely able to take those 80 points. It'll be tough to beat her when it comes to a downhill sprint, even too. That's going to be a very, very difficult sprint to win up against her. We know Langham does have a good kick as well. We'll see if she's able to bring that into the virtual world here from the outside. We haven't seen her in a performance yet this year, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Has she been waiting, Dave? That's a big question. You know, she didn't go. Verhaaren didn't go on the top of on that climb. You know, I think a lot of them were waiting for the second time over the top.
Anvil being played by BL13 right there. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Verhaeren.
doesn't do. That's not going to. Well, at this point now, I think it's neither here nor there. To tell you the truth, it's not going to impact her race in a major negative way or positive way. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, the only thing I would be thinking about is whether or not there might be some attacks out on the flat sections like we saw in the men's race just a moment ago. Those sections, of course, there could be some attacks, you know, that you might want to cover. But besides that, there isn't going to be a whole lot of reason to be concerned about that. We got another use of an arrow wow, a lot of these being used lower slopes here. Interesting. And perhaps just saving a little bit of energy. That's what the idea here is, just to save some energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they're not worried about a group joining them from behind.
Breely's actually making a move with it. She's at 5 watts per kilogram.
All right, well, let's see how this plays out now. As she starts to open up a little bit of a gap. I don't even know that was necessarily attacking or just lifting the pace, to tell you the truth.
I think she was seeing what she could do. Like, oh, I'm using it. I'm going to see if this gets me. And and then there was response. There were 2 anvils in the pack that then brought it back.
Kind of kicking the tires of the anvil,
I mean,
right? Let's see what
she pulled the Nathan move there. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if I was an anvil off the front a little bit, that I 100% had put 6 watts per kilogram in, I'm making a little bit of move. Like, I'm like, okay, let's see where I'm going. She got a little distance. I mean, it was fun for a moment, right?
100% pulling a Nathan, I would call that.
Careful how many.
Get some camera time.
Careful how many of those you do. End up not riding your
bike.
You don't want to pull for a month, right?
Well, I tell you what, you pull too many Nathans and you get popped out of this group right here. This is an intense moment, and I think we actually did see a rider have to lose the wheels there. As coming up and out of the underground is brutal.
Who is that?
Aeonian,
Aeonian
attacking.
Is that going to be?
It was a co-rider, I thought.
Is that a dropout? She's got the power to hang on here, I would think. Busone here, though, 4 seconds. That opened up so quickly, Dave.
Yeah, it seems like that didn't seem like that was a biomechanical, but maybe some kind of a dropout. But that seems like such a weird time for that to happen.
Maybe she just didn't respond quick enough. Maybe she just didn't respond quick enough to the accelerations, the orange numbers, because you have to go orange numbers. You have to go with those there.
Yeah, and you've got a very, very small window where it all happens, right? I mean, when it goes orange, you got to be going orange too, or else that small gap opens and it turns into a much bigger gap very, very quickly.
Her teammates on the front at 3.6 watts per kilogram. Is she just like keeping the pace just high? Now at the 4, does she know that she's dropping her teammate, Dave? I'm not sure.
She must not. I mean, there's... Unfortunately, setting the tempo to keep your teammate out of the group doesn't make any sense in pro cycling, and so she must not know.
Coalition to the front now, 3.5, it looks like. Columbia just covered.
Actually, what you really want to do is get to the front and try to set a false tempo, right? And let everybody else think that maybe everything's cool and this is the speed we should be going at, and your teammate can sneak back in.
I think she's going to catch him. It looks
maybe that's
like
what she... Go to the front and then slow down. Go to the front and slow down. It becomes very annoying for other riders.
Yeah, a little punch on this. Luckily, there's an uphill grind here, and the riders are pushing 3 watts per kilogram. Nobody really attacking, so she'll get back on terms here. A lot of energy used there for not responding quickly, though.
You can see she's having to sit on 5 watts, even now over 6 watts per kilo, but she will rejoin. It'll be a nice reprieve to get back into the draft here.
6 watts per
She's done
kilogram,
it, though.
180
Good for her. Way to
Nice
fight
job.
back.
Yeah, great job by her. And making Team Castelli with 2 again at this front group. BL13 sitting in with 2 as well. WLC do have 3 riders. Aeonian have made it with their entire squad.
She's going to attack them now. She literally rides right through the peloton, keeping that same. She found her rhythm, and now Bussone's got them chasing.
Covered. Nevin.
That's how you turn the tables on them.
Over the top. Langen responding there as well. Brown now on the wheel. Charlotte Coldcloth here responding there, it looks like. At the back, it is Aeonian still just watching everybody do their thing.
Yeah, at this point now, you can't fall into the Aeonian trap if you're the other teams in this group. You got to race your race, and it's a long season. It's a 6-race, 6-week season. So for the other riders here, you have to play the long game right now, and really. In my mind, Nathan, you've got to do everything you can to try to, obviously that's always going to be the case, get the maximum number of points. But today, rather than racing against Aeonian, I would be racing against the other teams in this front group here and just try to make sure that I at least ended up second. Because I don't know that mathematically, if they can keep 5 riders in this group, Aeonian, the next best team has 3 riders. There's just not enough points for another team to overcome Aeonian.
Lots of anvils there. And interesting the way that they're deployed. I think that isn't necessarily an anxiety anvil. It was more like, well, this is one of the last points to use it. Everybody's using it on this downhill. Might as well. There's only one more section to use it. Yeah, why not? Get a little extra speed through here and not waste too much energy to stay on terms. It was kind of just like a concession of anvils. Okay, fine. We'll use our anvils at this point.
Sort of like neutralizing all the anvils. And they'll get a feather at the next arch that they go under, which will be much more useful for them on Fox Hill than that last anvil was. But they do get one more anvil as well, rather than randomized power-ups as we had used in seasons past. We lock it down where all of the riders get the same power-up at the same time, which I think has been a great improvement for the quality and the equity of the racing out here.
Well, what's the situation here, Dave? How many we got? We've got, it looks to be amongst this crowd in this front group for the A's. About, if 18? I go to the back here, yeah, I'd say about that. Yeah, 15, maybe 18. Daniela Estrate at the back here. 16, it looks like, is what her position is going to be. So I'm going to say 16 then. All right. That's her thing. She is the ultimate draft warrior. Seriously.
Her Zwift craft is at wizard level, no doubt. And at this point now, Nathan, this is scary. When you look at the way the Aeonian women have just been riding in the wheels here, there's going to be an absolute explosion on Fox Hill. Now, I'd expect that Lucy and Zoe will be able to go with it. I'm wondering who else is going to be able to make that front group. There is no way that all of these riders are together when we hit the top of Fox Hill.
Looking for some live updates. Not coming through over on Zwift Power at this moment here, but some shout outs here real quickly. Vicky Whitelaw, Dave, I did not realize that. Now, is she riding Aeonian though, Vicky? She is riding for Aeonian.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Marina Arce, Femme de Z, also there. Daniela Estrate, Aria Verharn, and Amy Henderson. Those are the names that I'm seeing signed up here, but that's not everybody who is here. So I'm wondering, maybe they have a DS there with Amy Henderson, because I have not seen Amy Henderson in the front group here at this point.
Yeah, good catch. That must be the case. But yeah, so we can confirm that Verharn's there, Dezi is there, Estrate is there. That's 3 of the 5. It's funny how.
And on the chase group here, Castelli do have 3. They're how many seconds back are they?
Toyota Cryo has 3 as well.
Oh,
in that chase group, but
I'm surprised.
Really,
Natalie
I think
Stevenson is off the back here. That must have been an incessant pace at the front here, because these are riders that I would not have been expecting to find themselves. Stelvio here, Harmsen as well. 30 seconds back here at this point. I'm not sure they're going to be bringing that back here. Still solid effort, but this has been a difficult race so far. That's for sure, with names like Stevenson and the rest getting dropped off.
Yeah, you absolutely would not expect to hear that. And goes right into what you're saying, Nathan, about how challenging it has been out here today. We're not even through the first lap at this point. So we got a lot of racing ahead of us. The way that Aeonian has been just setting this one up, it seems like we've got an absolute explosion to look forward to on Fox Hill. Got to give Castelli credit, though. The Italian team has been keeping themselves in the conversation here. Wahoo Lacole also, I think it's really going to come down to that, Nathan. Wahoo Lacole is going to attack this race. In my mind, there's no doubt about that with Zoe Langham and Lucy Collins. And then how does Aeonian respond?
Yeah, I think it's a good point, David. The thing is, that's kind of, it's weird to say, but Zoe Langham's kind of a dark horse at this point because you don't know where she's at when it comes to virtual racing and what her fitness is at this point. We haven't seen her in the Zwift Grand Prix. We haven't seen her, there's been a lot of racing that's gone on so far. We have an entire round of ZRL. We've got two races so far of Zwift Grand Prix, and this is the first time we've actually seen her back amongst this crowd. Everybody's got to have like question marks. What is Fox Hill going to be like this second time around? And are we going to see something similar to what we've seen from Zoe this past spring? Or is this a different situation?
It makes you wonder. I mean, even if Zoe's at 90, 85% of her top form, that's still good enough to win.
Yeah, no, be there for a sprint. But I mean, I'd be thinking, so in my head, I'm like, okay, is Zoe going to walk away from everybody, or is this going to be a bunch sprint with her?
The latter. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure, Nathan. I don't think that we're going to see Zoe go absolutely ballistic and drop this entire field and win by 30 seconds. Maybe that happens a little bit later in the year. But at this point now, a lot of question marks, and I think it's perfect. That's what makes racing so exciting. There's really no way to know what's going to happen here on Fox Hill, except one thing. It'll be great racing, that's for sure. And how about Rachel Brown today? Rachel looks like she's brought some really good form into this season. And that duathlete, you're going to have to reckon with her out here today.
And Nevin as well. Always good to see her.
Charlotte Kolkloff.
Coalition here, level 45. Watch out for her as she's got some solid efforts recently. I'm not seeing here, looking through Nevin's results. Did she do the first round? She did do the first round a little bit, but didn't show up consistently. So Nevin's got a lot of top 10s. This could be a breakthrough ride, actually, for her. 31st at the first round of the Zwift Grand Prix. But that a little bit different racing there because that was for some sprint points. So we'll see how Nevin goes. She's hung on with the top crowd here. So good to see the coalition rider and what she's been able to pull off.
Got to give Castelli credit as well. With two riders in this group, three in the chase group, Nathan, they very well are in contention for, again, with things stacked up the way they are, it's hard to imagine somebody beating Aeonian today, but Castelli is one of the teams that's certainly got, I wouldn't even say, they've got a really good shot to get a good result out of the day. They and Wahoo Lacole, I think, are going to be really fighting for that second spot.
Has Columbia made this? Because she's got some serious watts.
She's there.
She has. She can throw down pretty solid for 20 minutes. So be on the watch out for Columbia. We'll see what she can pull off over the top of Fox Hill here. I have a feeling a lot of riders will be watching out for her.
I mean, the quality of this front group is really not different than a Zwift Grand Prix, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is a world-class front group that we're looking at. The only real difference is the way that Aeonian's been able to get basically their entire team up into the front group, where everybody else has been happy getting, well, maybe not happy, they'd like to see more, but getting a couple of riders into this group here. BL13 with 2, Wahoo Lacole with 2, Castelli with 2 as well. Starting though, I mean, at this point, this is the calm before the storm. We're with Bassone now.
Yeah, Castelli here with a steady effort here toward the front. Looks like two riders setting up, trying to come in.
She's setting up Columbia is my guess here, trying to launch her as they come into Fox Hill. Here comes Collins now. Watch out for her. Don't sleep on Lucy Collins.
This is the big question moment. What exactly is going to be the call from the teams? Who's got the legs? A lot of questions are happening within those discords right now about who can do what from here. You've got a couple of different, situations, really three of them. Attack from the bottom, go to the top, be the aggressor, sit in the pack, watch what everybody else is up to, or I'm just hanging on. Those are really the three mentalities that come into a climb like this at the final. And anybody who's feeling good at this point, they're going to be looking to burn matches and see what they can do to break things apart.
And that rider would be Ariel Verhaeren for one, as you see her moving up right now. Verhaeren, yeah, okay. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Round one here of season 2. Wahoo Lacole's going to take the bull by the horns. They got Rachel Brown, Zoe Langham, and Lucy Collins up to the front. So let's see if they can throw some kind of a knockout blow. Other riders are going to fight here. This is racing at its best.
Galagos continues to have some interesting Galagos I think she was hanging on that entire time with the pack and suddenly just appeared. Level up here, and now, there she goes. She's gone again. We'll jump back to the front here in just a second. Apologies on that, everybody.
I do not want her internet provider.
Oh, man. Rough one for her today. Really rough one for her today here.
I'm going to stick with Xfinity, I think, at this point. All right. So, so this group hasn't gotten any smaller, Nathan, which is amazing to me. These ladies are in for a battle.
Nevin here, I am really impressed with her ride today.
Good for her.
Comes on the counter now, makes a move on the 12% gradient. They're about a quarter of the way up at this point, not quite half. And Langham now 6.7 watts per kilometer starts to make her way to the front. And as you said, Dave, the danger spot is after a minute or 2, 3 minutes into this climb. That's when you can really turn the screws. That's when people are really over their threshold, over their VO2 max, even if they've been really pushing out more than they can handle for the entirety of the climb. And Langham sees this is the moment. Nevin now fading backwards as Langham pushes 5.7 to the front.
Well, world class is world class, and that's exactly what Zoe Langham is. So let's see how many riders she's able to break as one of the best climbers in the history of esports has gone to the front. You can see the pink and blue of Wahoo Lacole. Vicky Whitelaw, great job by the Esports Olympic bronze medalist here as Whitelaw for the Aeonian team jumping up onto that wheel. It looks like Aeonian's got Verhaeren slotting in third wheel now. There's Charlotte Kolkloff of the Toyota team as she's right in the slipstream here. It's going to start getting really rugged for riders at the back as we see a surge coming now from Vicky Whitelaw. She might be trying to set up her teammate Verhaeren here.
Yeah, BL13 putting in a spot of bother there at the back of this. Now it looks like Rachel Brown as well toward the back. She needs to move up. That's not a good spot to be here at this point, but maybe she's just biding her time, allowing teammates to do something at the front here. Is she comfortable is going to be the question. Not sure. Moving backwards, 3.6 here, Dave. I have a feeling that this may be going away from her. Van Murray, try here. BL13, unable to hang on. Her main goal is going to be holding off the hard charging chase group that's 51 seconds back at this point. Brown back on terms, it looks like, pushing a little 5.5. Is that a jump that she actually had this entire time, or is that a last-ditch effort to hang on as Castelli actually take over at the front? Are they going to start dropping off WLC? Aeonian, Dave, they have no pressure on them, it seems like, at this point. Not even a bit. They have covered everything and are just waiting for a finish line, it looks like to me.
Yeah, got to give credit to the Italians still riding on the front. But Nathan, with the way Aeonian is riding here, cool as a cucumber. Collectively, the entire team seems to have this one in hand. But it's amazing how quickly things can go completely ballistic out here. But that is not the moment. And Nevin has been very impressive today. The coalition rider continues to ride up near the front. There's the feather power-ups. All right, starting to see some power-ups being used. That's Columbia on the front.
Exactly where you said, Dave. Good predictions earlier about where they would be used. As we take a look here toward the front end of this race, it is going to be 4 riders: Colombe, Langham, Whitelaw, Nevin, Verhaeren trying to go across to that 1 second gap now at this point. Aonian got 3 making the juncture.
Wow. And they right now are starting to turn the screws like a Black and Decker, to tell you the truth. Even though they're not riding on the front, they're making the split. The entire team is making the split. That's happening right in front of our eyes. As a matter of fact, can you imagine if Aonian was able to put 5 in the top 7? That would certainly be a historic ride. But here she is, one of the queens of esport racing. Zoe Langham, racing out of the United Kingdom, has got Vicky Whitelaw. Whitelaw having a tremendous ride here today for Aonian. Her teammate Verhaeren sitting back in third wheel. So Wahoo Lacole and Aonian are starting to go clear here.
Yeah, and Langham really starting to turn the screws completely here. We had questions about whether or not she's got the form, and it looks like she does. She's breaking things apart. Dave, this is a good move. Aonian here are the danger, and she needs to get rid of them. Lucy Collins is there as well with a couple of Aonian riders sandwiched right between them. Verhaeren trying to go here. Can she get? I think Verhaeren is going to get across. Arce is there as well looking to get across, and there may be 3 Aonian riders making this juncture with Langham here at this point. If Collins can get on terms, it will be 2v3. It looks like Femme Daisy is there as well. Colombe there. Looks like this is going to come back together with 4 on a chase. Will they try and chase down their 2 teammates, though?
Getting second out here today, Nathan, is huge if you're Wahoo Lacole, because it's only a 1-point difference on the table, right? So even if today Aonian is able to smash this race and take a huge points advantage, it only translates into 1 point on the season total. So for Wahoo Lacole to finish second today would be huge. Third would be a massive disappointment with the way that Zoe Langham is riding. So the Italians are really going to be challenging the Wahoo Lacole ladies. But look at this, as this is going to be Ariel Verhaeren rejoining Vicky Whitelaw and Zoe Langham, and she's going to attack and go right over the top of that. So here we go.
Gallegos.
That's unbelievable with Gallegos. It's like, now she's gone. So it's hard to commentate on a rider who keeps disappearing, isn't it?
I'm like, oh, amazing
she's
job, Verhaeren. Verhaeren goes, Langham goes, Whitelaw's there. We get over the top. It's 3 riders. No, it's 4. No, it's 3. No, it's 4.
Elise, I definitely want to make sure that we give her respect, because she's having an incredible ride out here today. So Elise Gallegos rides for Wahoo Lacole, Nathan. So am I correct on that? I know she's in that yellow jersey, but I've got her as a Wahoo Lacole rider.
Yeah, and maybe it just didn't swap because of something to do also with the connection.
She is not having a good day technologically wise, but she's having an incredible day racing. So Elise, all credit where it's due. Even though I can't see you and I don't know where you are, you're a hero. As Elise Gallegos is.
She's got 257 races, level 60 Zwifter. She is a 2023 Ironman World Championship participant, 10th overall amateur and the first American, actually. So she's got an engine on her. And a mom of 2.
Mom of 2, right. And she just did 2023 Ironman World Championship. So not incredible athlete.
2 5-year-old boys. I wonder if she has twins. Interesting. So 7 seconds back here with Collins.
She has a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. Even worse as far as time management
the way
goes.
that it was, the way it was written out there. Mom of 2 and 5, but the end there. Yep, got it. My mistake.
But either way, that's a handful.
Well, okay. Here's the question, Dave. I have at this point for what these. I mean, it's kind of up in the air. If I were racing. Interesting that Aonian are punching at the front to bring this back, it looks like. They have an interest there with these 3 riders.
I agree. The thing that I want to go, taking in the new data is that Wahoo Lacole is in a much better position to take second out here today. The question becomes, Nathan, can they win? And I just don't know that there's enough points for them to be able to pull that off. They're 1 rider short in this group.
Yeah, and if they go 1, 2, 3, 4, if they go 1, 2, 3, 4, but I don't know if they can do that with Verhaeren and Whitelaw.
I mean, Aonian could go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not with Zoe out here, but
Arce now bringing it back here. It looks like there's another Anvil power up, interesting enough. So they're going to place a couple more riders into this breakaway. They've got a gap here at this point, but I think that's only going to be instigation for the rest of the group to get back on terms.
I agree,
well,
Nathan.
The speed's high here, Dave. Verhaeren jumps on. Big blots here coming from Aeonian. Now the response from Langham here, Dave. That's separation by 3 seconds. And now the motivation seems to be like, no, we've got Aeonian off the front with 4. They're not going to be, there's no interest for Daniela Estrate can handle herself back there and scrape up some points from the back.
Don't worry about her.
4, just make a move and go here. Continue on. Put the pressure on the rest of that group.
I don't know if you ever saw the movie Breaking Away, but this is basically like seeing Dave Stoller with the Italians in the group here. 4 riders on one team. Zoe representing her squad. Everything happening behind them is going to be critical as far as sorting out 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place teams. But right now, Aeonian is putting on a clinic in how to race the ZRL. This is, Nathan, I can still look over at my wall and see that Aeonian hat that they sent us years ago when this team was starting to get its momentum. And it's been one of the most impressive stories that esports has seen is what these women have done. And this for them, well, Wahoo Nicole fights back. The Empire strikes back, and now they are attacking out of this group. So that was an interesting moment right there. I was just about to give the win, wrap it up, and put a bow on it and hand it over to Aeonian, and now Wahoo Nicole is attacking with old school Fury bike racing at its very best out here. Poor Elise.
Yeah, poor her, but she's pulling the old school. Dave,
she pulled the old school ghost.
Okay, so like that is actually, I don't think she's doing this on purpose at all. Like this isn't on purpose or anything, but way back in the day in gaming, there was a bug in one of the oldest esports games in the world, and you could have a network issue, and it was in Halo. In the online, when they first had online multiplayer, it was the first FPS game, first-person shooter game. Well, it wasn't actually first-person, but it was the first game that you could have online play with, one of the first ones. And you could push your router, and the way that the game worked was you could push your router off for just a moment, have it reset, go kill everybody, and then suddenly show up again, and everybody be dead. And like, Galagos is kind of pulling an old school Halo, not purposely. I'm not saying she's doing this on purpose, but she's suddenly off the front. She's behind. Zwift is trying to figure out where she is. I mean, this is old school Halo moves from WLC. We always said they were one of the best tactical, but this is next level.
They're uncovering new ground. Well, got to give Rachel Brown some credit here, Nathan, as she at one point riding at the back of that group on the climb, and now she's back up in the mix and throwing haymakers now as the Italians look like they're not going to roll over. That's for sure, as here comes Colombi one more time. You see that purple jersey. Of course, Castelli looks good in their kit as Aeonian has got all 5 still here. So the beat goes on.
They tried too, Dave. They really tried. There was a lot of attacks, a lot of momentum going forward. They're trying to make things happen.
This race has had everything
to do so. Wahoo Nicole, though, they always have something up their sleeve, Dave. They really do. They are one of the cagiest teams. They're so good at the tactics here, and I would not be surprised if we still see some sort of moves here out today.
And I do think the way that Martin has set up the WTRL and ZRL, Nathan, that the goal is to have exciting racing, which is exactly what we've got here today. And for the season now, Wahoo Nicole has got to feel some wind in their sails now. Even though they're not quite matching blow for blow Aeonian here, they're really close. And, this is going to be an interesting season, to say the very least. So it looks like we're going to see a sprint out of this group. But, Nathan, this is the pause before there's certainly going to be one more attack coming out of this group. And if I'm the Italian, it would be me. I would hope that I could play these two teams against each other and have them watch while I rode up the road. That might be the one chance that you've got if you're Colombi.
That's an interesting point, because being those other teams, do you risk one of your riders?
Why would you chase? Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one here.
Colombi has a little bit an opportunity here in this group. What you're hoping is you turn it into a standoff between Wahoo Nicole and Aeonian. And if they look at each other just long enough, maybe you're gone.
Yeah, and one thing that is, we do have 3 riders from WLC as well as Galagos somewhere. Like
Oh,
there's
that's
the
right. So,
there, we
I
could,
keep forgetting. So she's actually a 4th rider that might be in this group.
but here's the thing: is there's a question that's a good question in chat. Will her result be contested? Like,
I
is
hope
that
not.
in the rules there? Like, what?
That's a
How
good
does that
point,
work?
though.
Like if you can't see the rider over and over again, if not connected enough, I don't know what the rules are on that actually, and
I
if they're
could
written
definitely
out.
see I could definitely see both sides to that argument, which makes it into a very challenging argument, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Good question coming on in. A couple other questions actually about who's racing out here. We will see later tonight in the Americas East if 2024 are showing up. Most likely, we'll see Christian Kolczynski and that team going up against another Ionian team, which has been a really hot race. So be around for that. Later tonight in the Americas, as we do see a couple of riders asking about that matchup. But the matchup right now is going to be the Wahoo Lacole riders versus the Ionian. We do see a little bit of a move. Daniela
Here's an
Estrade
attack.
here. Look at
Good for
that,
her.
Dave. And this is a rider who has been waiting for this moment. Dave, suddenly, and this is actually connected to the game now, Dave.
Hello, Elise.
26 seconds off the front. I mean, they
That's
couldn't see
that's
her,
true.
Dave. They couldn't
Okay.
see her.
Wow. So this is, yeah. Well, again, Elise, you are legend. There's
Yeah,
no doubt about it, and there's
absolutely.
no question that what you've done today is so impressive. I'm blown away, Nathan. When you brought her back up on screen, I was expecting that she was dropped. To tell you the truth, to hear that she's 23 seconds off of the front, and it's starting to come down now. But that's enough of a gap that I give her a 70% chance of holding on to win this race. Estrate is leading the chase now. The Romanian sensation is going to putting a lot of watts at the problem. Let's see what we've got. But, I mean, again, it's about points and the team. If you've got 5 in this group, there's no way with the points 80, 79, 78 working down that Aeonian should be able to find the top of the table. But Wahoo Lacole has really put together a solid performance out here today. It's going to be the Toyota Cryo team who should be up there. The Italians from Castelli should be up there today as well. But I think that Aeonian has got to be feeling pretty good about the situation that they're in. Although Elise Gallegos, this will go down as a memorable ride for many reasons.
Yeah, good moves here altogether by Wahoo Lacole. As you do see Aeonian now 1 2 1 2 1 2 over and over again. 1 2 3 4 5 really coming in from Aeonian. Whitelaw not responding obviously to her teammate there. The pace is just being steady toward the front as Decisive goes here from Aeonian. The rider on the other is 194. We saw this in the men's race, exactly the same kind of move, Dave, but she hasn't opened up quite as much. It was up to 10 seconds, though, over the top of the next little punch of a climb. Decisive is about to catch, actually.
Right, it was up to 10, and it came down to about 2 at the finish line, if I remember correctly. Decisive doesn't quite have that type of advantage. We're looking at Gallegos now at 13 seconds up the road. Can she make the catch?
I don't know.
I don't
know how real. I don't really know where she is. So I think the internet is at a situation because she's jumping all over the place. Zwiftar's having a really hard time placing her too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just leave that alone. I'm going to call the race as I see it here. And
so we'll call D as our leader then.
Yes,
maybe the best way to do it.
Because I don't really know what's happening up front there at this point. So it is going to be Decisive for hiring on the chase, but not really chasing her teammate here. I think Decisive may stay away because everyone's starting to sit up and watch her roll it.
Yeah, and now we're going to see the finishing positions here are going to, with the sorting out, it looks to me it's going to be happening right there, and there goes Wahoo Lacole. So they're both going to play their anvils, and oh boy, here we go. Full tilt boogie to the line. Zoe Langham has still got some kick, but so does Ariel Verhaeren, the Olympian, and
not going to catch her teammate, but going to go for
which is
fine. Look at that. 1 2 3.
3.
1 2 3. Langham went, and I think Langham just went a little bit early, Dave. I think that's all that was.
To be honest, Zoe hasn't been racing on the platform a lot lately, and timing is something that comes with the experience of, the rhythm, the repetition. So don't worry. Zoe will be back and crushing dreams shortly.
Yeah, it was a good move from Zoe there early, but it was just a little bit too early, as you do see Verhaeren coming up and over the top there.
One of the best
Solid.
sprinters in the esports when you talk
Yeah,
about.
and you can't go past her if it comes to the line, really. She is amazing at the timing. And her teammate.
I mean, losing to Ariel Verhaeren in a sprint is like losing to Mike Tyson in a boxing match. You know, it's going to happen.
True. If you're going in for a first round all in, that's definitely going to be a tough one to win. Very,
Yeah,
very similar when it comes
but
to
Zoe
those
Langham,
riders.
and Zoe is one of the best climbers on the planet, right?
You
Like
know,
that's
the
not
thing
her
about
forte.
Zoe. She's got. I mean, she's got just.
She's
about
like a Wout
every,
Van Aert of racing, as far as she can do it all, right? Climb in the front group, sprint with the best sprinters. Good to have Zoe back, for sure. It's really nice when you see the legends of the sport take a break but then return. I genuinely appreciate the quality of racing that she's brought to the platform.
Give us a second, everybody. We'll bring in some results here from what we just saw, and then we'll see if we can jump across to the men's race for our final broadcast of EMEA. They have gotten out on course, but just real quickly want to see how things are playing out here for the results for that top 10. We'll bring them in just a second here. I think there it is. Aeonian Aces with Femme de Z. That is going to be the official, it looks like, that we have so far. As I have a feeling Elise Elise was actually all the way back in 10th. That's actually where she was. So
Okay.
Did you see that, Dave? How that's working? It's a little, well, I don't know how it worked. I don't know how it worked actually, but
and also she's racing for level up, apparently, not Wahoo Lacole here.
Well, is there a level? Is there even like? Is that even like a?
No, it's not. You're right.
So I have a feeling like I don't know if that's even a thing.
So should You know, Elise, I apologize for. I mean, obviously that wasn't what she was looking for in this experience, and hopefully that it'll all get cleaned up for you.
I'm getting messages actually from Elise right now too.
Oh yeah, what's she saying?
Yeah, so her internet's really gone. So it made her push even harder though. But yeah, I'm seeing some messages are coming in. Actually, Gabby's letting me know that it's been a rough time with the internet over there. She's a little frustrated. But Dave, why don't you take us through these results for us, please?
Hey, you bet. So Aeonian with the command performance out here in race 1 of season 2, 23-24. It's Femke de Z taking the win. That's a big one for the Dutch rider. The American Ariel Verhaeren also with the aces taking second, and Vicky Whitelaw rounds out an Aeonian podium sweep as the Australian ending up in third. Zoe Langham, good to have you back, as the Wahoo Lacole Vitesse rider will finish fourth with her teammate Lucy Collins in fifth, Danielle Estrate and Marina Arce in sixth and seventh. There, Marina Arce, the Argentinian, was the other rider that we weren't seeing on screen that much that was up there. Rachel Brown for Wahoo Lacole Vitesse should have them in solid spot for second. Celine Colombi had a great ride today to find the top 10 in ninth. And there's Elise Gallegos of Wahoo Lacole Vitesse, we believe, in 10th.
Well, let's jump across to our racing for the men. We did find them out on course. Took us a minute, but our final broadcast and the final descent up over the top of the climb, we've got a breakaway. We haven't seen two riders up the front like this, Dave, yet today that I remember. It's ESRT and Swedish Zwifters, it looks like, with Noren and the letter B. The letter B has made it over the top. And Jaden Yager is not happy. Jaden Yager, it says, no, this is like, I don't know what's going on, but he is not happy about the current situation. A 4:33 was the fastest time I think that we have seen in, maybe that's not in this race perhaps. Is E. Morgan here? Yeah, well, it looks like 4:33, 4:36, 4:36. I mean, those are ZGP times. That's about as fast as we went over the Zwift Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm almost going to have to go back and look and see exactly
what that time was. It was a 4:30. It was around 4:30. I mean, that's insane.
There you go.
Whew.
So, all right. Well, we are down to it. This is going to be so picking up the action here late in the race. They've ascended Fox Hill both times now. They've loaded up an anvil in their power up quiver. So we'll see how that plays out. That's Jaden Yeager that we were talking about, the restart rider. There's Jaden right now that we're looking at racing out of Nathan's home state of Wisconsin. But this group is definitely in with a chance.
I really like Jaden. That's why I was laughing.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy and a really strong bike racer. And I can just see his expression over the top of that climb with his little bit of frustration, perhaps. But we'll see how this goes for the restart rider. He does have a ZRL champions helmet, though, as you can see. So obviously they know how to make things happen here on this restart team.
And Jaden is the kind of guy that races hard with a lot of grinta and expects riders around him to do the same. And when you know, he has high standards, that's for sure. So it looks like Restart making a bit of a move right now. They're clearly motivated to make this catch.
Yeah, this Lavoie just getting the pace up into 70. He's doing the jumps here. B sees exactly what's happening here. He's getting it up into 73 kilometers per hour. Let's start doing a matching here as best we can on the speed. 68 here, 69. Will they get over 70 is going to be the question. Lavoie does bump it over 70, but B continues here up into 71. But there is an anvil power up. They get it to 71, 72.
Yeah, and let's see how they can come over the top of this. They should be pretty organized with their use of the anvils, although a little bit of a gap starting to open up now. Let's watch that gap down to 10 seconds. So it's sort of been fluctuating from 9, 10, 11 seconds, holding right now at 10.
Yager, I get it, bud. I get it. And I appreciate, and in those moments of frustration, I'd probably be saying the same thing. I don't know if I'd be doing it in public chat, but I get it. ESRT, though, with B and Lavoie, now it looks like on the chase, going to back off, as you can see. And
it's funny, he's correcting his own spelling.
No, that was sad. That was sad. Well, yeah, you're right. He is.
That says a lot about the fact that Jaden Yeager is able to, fix a typo.
Yeah. They brought it back to 8 seconds though here at this point. As Noren
I think they're going to make the catch.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, I think we started super motivated. They're extremely motivated. It looks like here at this point. Now let's talk a little bit about the makeup. I'm not seeing. In all the other races that we broadcast so far today, we've seen a very strong single team representation a lot of times. But here we're seeing Restart with 2, Team Italy with 1, Hexagon with 1, WKG with 1, ESRT have 2.
I guess ESRT gets 2, right?
Yeah, so interesting here.
As we were watching the women's race earlier, it was pretty easy with Aeonian to do the math and realize that they were unbeatable. But here, you tell me the top team at this moment, right? I mean, I would have no idea. It looks to me like we've got a lot of parity happening right now in this race as the guys pop up out of the underground. Always a critical sector here. Lavoie's been very strong. Again, this is the chase that we're looking at. 2 riders, but it's down to 4 seconds now. I think they might be attacking each other up there on the front of the bike race as well. Not a good sign.
I think they are. They're not really working together too well. I mean, maybe they're just pushing the pace over the top of each other, fighting a little bit here. I think Noren wants to pull through at this point. B not able, perhaps, at this point, as Noren continues on 4.2 watts per kilogram.
If I'm back in that chase group, I'm not going to be too worried about making this catch in the next couple of K. I'd like these guys to stay out here a little bit longer and burn the oil out of their pan, if you know what I mean. Like, I'd really, you make the catch too quickly and all of a sudden you're going to have to deal with them again.
That's a good point. Good point. Browell here. It's within 4 seconds, so there may be
I feel like they're feathering it.
Yeah,
I feel like they're feathering it.
I think you're right. 159 beats per minute. Nobody's really under pressure here at this point. It's more of a question of who wants to do the work.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at it, especially with Restart with 2 guys just monitoring the front right now, if they wanted to make the catch right now, I believe that they could. So they didn't have a ZRL championship visor, did they?
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
It would be cool. I think so even though they're teammates now, they must not have been on the same ZRL winning team. There's another ZRL championship helmet. Back to the front with less than 5K to go, just a little more than 4K to go out here. I'd like to see these guys working together just a little better to give them a chance, Nathan.
Yeah, they are really these little punches that they're kind of attacking each other a little bit, it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, attacking each other or at least not simpatico. You know, they're not riding a two-man time trial out here. They're both riding their own race, and it shows. They need to work together if they want to hold off this group. Typically,
Lavoie, big kick, 13 watts per kilogram. He continues to put these efforts in to try and split things a little bit and bring this back. He's brought up within 3, and he has really been the man putting the work in here for restart, trying to snap the elastic and do some work as well for Jager, it seems like. Is he? That's the question. Do you think he's setting up, Jaden? Do you think that's what's going on here?
I do. I mean, I think that the end goal is, I mean, if you can give a lead out to Jager and then still hold on for a top 5 spot, that might be enough for restart out here today. Again, this is going to go back 80 places with point scoring, 80, 79, 78 for the riders that we're looking at now. Winner taking 80, 79 for second. So this linear point structure that we have here really does just that last rush to the line. Only one chance to earn points today. It really changes things rather than when you've got many opportunities, and it looks like another attack coming from Jaden Jager here. So Jager is going to go, and this might be the move, or is it? Response is coming from back in the peloton, Nathan. I think they got his number.
Yeah, and Jaded, I mean, he's a rider who can throw down a massive 400 plus watts for the entirety of a crit race here, but I think he might be trying to set up Alan here. Lavoie now up and over the top as Alexis Lavoie, as he goes over the top. Restart really playing their cards well with the 2 riders that they do have to get the outright win here. I love what they're doing. It's 1-2, 1-2 over and over again.
Yeah. And I mean, that's going to be the tried and true technique. And if it doesn't pay off, at least they know they did everything they could out here. As you start looking now, ESRT, are they the biggest danger for restart? We'd have to obviously look a little bit deeper. I see Diaz is getting himself up into the conversation here for Wahoo LaCole.
Restart, I think we're going to see it come like through again. Is Jaden going to roll through? That's going to be the question. It'd be a great time to do it, but will he even have the power to do so? No, it goes down to 0 watts per kilogram, just on the cover rather than any kind of move. Birdie calling right on down. Who's the green jersey on the front, though? It's going to be Browell here from the Mutant team, but he's not actually taking a poll. Everyone's just starting to look at each other, Dave.
Everyone's waiting for the sprint.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It's been such a difficult day so far, and I think a lot of those attacks not working out, nobody really able to go anywhere. It starts to really take the wind out of the sails when it comes to any kind of late attacks. Now, we did see it work, though, many times through these last little punches. They are drowned out, these little uphill grinds.
Yeah. No doubt. So, and these guys at this point now, the Anvil power-up is the name of the game. Everybody will be saving it for the sprint. If they've been watching the racing, they'll realize that that's the technique, that if you want to win, you're going to need to be deploying. There is no doubt now that everybody in this group is trying to save as much as they can for the sprint here, and that's going to be the job of Lavoie. So clearly he's here to well, in my mind, Nathan, he's here to set up his teammate Jaden Jager. With this move now, he's going all in for the win, but this is a double dip as it benefits not only himself as he has a chance to hold on, but his teammate back there will be riding the wheels looking for a better shot to take the sprint if it's going to be one. Alexis Lavoie on the attack.
Front, 8 watts per kilogram. He's got a little bit of distance here that's only going to be, I think, like you said, Dave, exactly, setting up Jaden as best as he possibly can. Noran now on the chase, but Dave, it's going to be, actually, Jager's off the back here, Dave. Oh, no. He actually is unable to make it here, so it's going to be up to Alexis to hold on to this wheel now at this point. Now here comes B up and over the top from ESRT, 12 watts per kilogram, big feather power up. He had saved that actually for this moment. No Anvil.
And Noran is there as well. So the guys that were in the breakaway coming into 3K to go, they get caught and then they re-attack and double down with their efforts. It's going to be ESRT and the rider B, the Swede off of the front. Noran is trying to cover. There, Noran now with the surge. Swede coming up and over the top with the perfectly played Anvil.
Nora now over the top, 9 watts per kilogram. B from ESRT trying to go over the back into contention, but I think Nora on the downhill at 60 kilometers per hour. It's just not going to be happening here for the rest of the racers. It looks like Noren holding on. Speed's too high at 62. Right to the line of Birdie, able to take down third behind B from ESRT. So difficult to grab those shots. The speeds are so incredibly high.
Yeah.
That's your 1, 2, 3 here. And Birdie actually with coming out of Italy here, he also has a ZRL helmet. Nice to see. Nice little sprint there. We'll see if we can get our top 10 here in just a moment. Maybe a little bit of a replay as well of how that played out.
Well, maybe they did make the catch too soon, Nathan. Because again, pretty unique to see two riders in a breakaway. They had 7-8 seconds. They got caught, and then they attacked in the final kilometer and went on to go 1-2. You don't see that very often. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
usually when you get caught in a breakaway, that's it. Game over, right? You're lucky just to stay in that group as they charge to the line. But these guys were able to redouble their efforts out here. Iberti third on the day. It's going to be, actually, there's no way to know what team is the top of the table, as the guys finishing in the next couple of minutes are going to be the ones that are deciding those places.
It's a good point. Noren here, this is the final replay. Now, I just want to point out on this course, it's interesting because it is a serious race of attrition. We look at these earlier sections here, just a little bit ways back. Through right here in the Zwift Grand Prix, where we see Lavoie making a move, it's a good move here if you can get the gap, because over and over again, every race that I've seen play out here, it's been riders just kind of strung out across the course. We haven't had a group sprint actually. Every single group sprint so far, we've seen just completely shattered groups with 1 or 2, 3 riders making their way for a final kick to the line.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think that would describe every finale that we've had. An absolute attrition battle, and then riders, 3-4 seconds off of the front, nearly getting caught at the line. But it just goes to show you what a hard day of racing it was to kick off season 2 here of 23-24 in the ZRL. That's the moment, though, that Noren, when he plays the anvil, and that should seal the deal on whether you want to save the anvil or not for the finale. That is how you do it.
Let's see if we can bring up some results here, but there it is across the line. Will be B from ESRT, followed up by Birdie, then P fell. Bravo up against Bragval. I think we'll get in a second here. We'll be able to see how that one actually played out. But great start to our 2023-24 Zwift Racing League, round number 2, race number 1. And there it is, Johan Noren, followed up by Brian O'Brien. That's going to be B from maybe unknown ESRT. Luca Iberti from Team Italy 10. Pierre Fell from Hexagon in for 4th. Chris Bravo there from Mutant Z in 5th. Richard Bragval, also from maybe unknown ESRT, in 6th place. Alex Watts in for 7th. It's going to be Callum Sharp, followed by Alexis Lavoie and Jaden Yager. Restart, they were the most aggressive. I'll give him that. That's for sure. But in the end, a lot of effort up against those other riders there, but not to grab a ton of points there. Restart going to have to make their way back. But, 2 riders in the top 10, it's going to get them some solid points, though.
It really, when you look from 11th to 30th, it'll give you a lot better feel. But from that data there, it looks like ESRT or Restart are in the driver's seat. But you can always go to WTRL.racing to find out exactly what's going on throughout the season in all of our different leagues, divisions.
Yeah, it's a good question there. Maybe we can get some boards updated.
That doesn't tell you enough.
Further down. Yeah, and maybe like tough points, finals, etc.
Because in all honesty, if you look at it, ESRT picking up a 79 and a 74 there, but that's not that different than a 71 and a 70. So.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm hearing Jaden actually raced earlier, I'm being told. Interesting enough. So I'm not surprised on that. He's one of those. He's a rider who can take on a whole lot of fatigue, and good to hear. That's awesome, actually. racing earlier, making it up over the top in that chase group with a sub 5-minute climb on Fox Hill. Amazing race there coming in from the Restart Riders, coached by Alex Coe. If you want an introduction to Zwift racing, actually, Alex just put on an awesome article over at Zwift Community Live and about introducing to Zwift racing. I actually saw some questions how to get involved. It's a great way to figure out how to get involved. Zwift Racing League. But if you also want to get involved in Zwift Racing League, you got to head over to WTRL.racing to do that. We've got one more broadcast later tonight. This has been the EMEA, which is the European broadcast. We'll be here every week throughout round number 2 for the next 5 weeks after this one, so 6 weeks total of racing. Race number 1's been London Loop Reverse. We've got another London Loop Reverse. We're going to see the ladies and the men in the A categories later tonight. I know some of you did jump in here for the B's and the C's and the D's. We will be jumping across to those categories in later weeks. So there will be coverage, not just on the A's, across all of the weeks. So be on the watch out for what we will be covering. We'll give you updates on that over on ZwiftCommunityLive.com's website. Best way to get the information, make sure to be checking out our news page as well as subscribing to the website. That gets you that information quickly and as easily as possible. Dave, it's been a great start. I'm excited for later tonight. We're going to see some battles. It'll be interesting to see. In the men's side of things for the Americas, Dave, I think we may see some new teams showing up. On the women's side, I think it's going to be a lot of what we've seen in Zwift Grand Prix 2024 versus Aeonian and maybe a couple of other new teams that have jumped in from Americas. The one takeaway that I would say, though, is that we have seen an increase in the teams. And we're going to see some of the riders that have been hanging out outside a little bit later into their fall now jumping in for their winter.
I love that. And, you know, Nathan, it really is that perfect mix where it's great to have your classic hits, your standards, the riders we've gotten to know well through the years like Kristen Kolchinski, and then welcoming in new riders like Kate Leigler earlier today that we haven't seen racing with us. I think that's exactly what we're looking for, is keep some of our old friends, bring some new friends into the mix, and keep some great racing going, because that's exactly what we saw today. Zero disappointments in the quality of racing, just 100% stoked.
Yeah, the quality is absolutely awesome. So thanks a lot to all the racers for putting on the show out here. If you didn't know, we have been live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure to hit those follow buttons, like, subscribe, comment. It really does help out the channel a ton. We'll be back for the Americas later today. Again, one last reminder, WTRL.racing to check out all things Zwift Racing League and everything Zwift Community Live over at ZwiftCommunityLive.com. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later tonight for the Americas. And as always from us, right on.
Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words. I won't let them take me. No, I won't let them break me. No one on this earth can bring me down. Now I'm standing tall. I won't ever fall. Concentrate on the tightrope. The hope that you make it through to the other side. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Let them see your perfect imperfections. Don't hide from bad feeling, 'cause they just want your words, 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 Be who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Oh, 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 oh. Be who you want to be. Who do you want to make